Hello! Hi, Anne. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm kind of excited about today. I was kind of messing around. There's a stamp set that Burtis Monroe is carrying right now. It's actually not a Burtis Monroe branded stamp. It's one that is carried through Stampendous. But the second I saw it, I knew that thing was going in my cart because it is just really beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and hi, Nikki. Hi, Kat. I think I said hi to you, Kathy. I'm going to go ahead and switch up my camera so that I can get going on this project. Okay, so for right now, the camera is up a little higher than I usually have it, and I will explain that to you in just one sec. Trust me, we'll move it down as we need to. So I purchased the Rose Tendril Slim Cling rubber stamp. I just brought this with me so that I would remember it was the Slim Rose Tendrils. That's what it's called. And this is what that stamp looks like. Let me move my Misty into there. Okay, so this stamp right here is the stamp that comes in the set, Rose Tendrils. And I wanted to show you something because it kind of threw me off. I don't have a lot of Stampendous stamps. Why, I don't know. It's just, I just haven't yet. Now that I've tried one, I think they're pretty cool. So when you open your packaging, they do have the printed, like this little piece right here is kind of like a piece of that cling, like window clings are kind of like. Because sometimes, you know, just the foam is the cling, but this actually has a film cover. And so I kept trying to pull it off because it also comes with, I know I kept it over here, but I've moved things around so many times getting ready that I may have moved it. Just, they have a little piece of acetate like stamp sets do when you get them. There it is. I knew I had it. So it does have the little piece of acetate, and it was like this, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, because they were so close. I was worrying, I kept trying to pull from this, and I was worried that maybe in the Arizona heat that it had melted, but no, this comes off. And then you've got this cling, and that is what clings to your block or your Misty. So do not peel off this cling, this plasticky, can you see the edge here? So you'll have that plastic film or cling film cover. Okay, so the first thing I did for this, I'm going to move this huge, I love my Misty. This is the nice 12 by 12 size.
Mary says the stamp is beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? I love that too. I was going to see if my other Misty is handy.
Nikki said she'd have tried to peel it off too.
Yeah, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one. So this one looks like it's the 8 by 6.
Marlene says hello.
And it actually fits in the 8. Hi, Marlene. It actually fits in the 8 by 6 Misty as well. I wanted to check that. So you've got both options there. I didn't know that it would fit in this, or I might have done that. Well, for what I'm doing, this was good. So anyway, I went ahead and stamped that out. I'm going to move those out of my way so I have more work surface. You can see I left my my grid mat out from last time. So now I just stuck it to this side. I have this stencil. This is called Quilt Lace, and I do want to share this. I have a spare, so if you want to share this video, I will, and we will pick the drawing by the end of this live. So if you're watching the replay of this, if it's ended, then we've already done the drawing. But I do want to share this with one of you. So if you go ahead and share it, then come back on in the comments and just type shared so that we know to add you to the drawing, okay? So don't let me forget that. And I'll get back to showing you what we did here. So what I'm going to do today is I want to show you how to take this rose stamp that's, you know, it's one-dimensional right now, and I want to show you how to add a lot of dimension and make a really fun project using layers. So rather than color this entire thing, I'm just going to color one bloom just to give you a little bit of an idea of how I colored. So I'm going to use these 3 colors. These are the Spectrum Noir Triblend markers. By the way, I should mention, I stamped this stamp in Raven Detail ink, which is awesome if you want to use any kind of alcohol ink, or I like it for everything. This is just really good if you like to color. It's good for everything, but it's especially good for that. All right, and I also want to mention that I stamped this on alcohol marker cardstock. This is Perfect Blend. If you haven't ever tried this paper and you like to color with alcohol markers, or even I use it with my colored pencils. I use it with everything because it is so smooth and everything blends so easily on it. It will make everything look just beautiful. So alcohol marker cardstock. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and we'll just color one of those blooms, and I'm just gonna move through it fairly quickly. So for the card that I am making today, I'm actually going to make a jumbo tag. And I'm gonna color.
Mary says hi. She finally gets to catch you live.
Hi, Mary. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so I'm going to color this, but when I colored mine, I colored one full rose, and then I colored the roses on the other 2. Okay? I didn't color the leaves on all of them because I fussy cut this. I'm going to tell you right now that once is more than enough in cutting out all those little leaves. For me, anyway. Heather Collins might be a different story. I don't mind fussy cutting, but I don't love it like she does. So I'm using my Fair Skin Blend Triblend marker. And I'm going to do a fairly quick, oh, you know what, let's do the smaller flower because I don't want to spend too much time on this. I do have these pre-colored, so I'm just giving you a little heads up in case you have never used the Triblend alcohol markers. I just want to make sure that you have a little bit of an idea of how they work. So I liked this color. It's pretty light, and we're going to use the Coral Blend next. And this actually I felt like was just a step.
Carrie asks if the Triblends are expensive.
The Triblends are really economical because if you consider when you're buying alcohol markers, typically you want a lighter color, the darkest color, and then a mid-tone. And they all 3 come on one marker. To be honest with you, maybe Darren can tell from the links. Does it have the price there?
No, let me look.
Darren will look it up. It might show the subscription price, so you'll have to look and see. But I know they're like, at the very most it would be 8, and it may be less than that. But these
are $4.95, but
$4.95.
Color's green, so I'm not sure if that's the subscription price or not.
Okay, so I feel fairly confident saying they're under $7. And like I said, you've got your lightest tone, you've got your mid-tone, you've got your dark tone. It eliminates the guesswork. It eliminates having to buy 3 markers, and you are good to go. These, I really, really am a fan of these. And especially if you're just starting with alcohol markers, this is a perfect way to start. I've been coloring with them a little bit. I'm no expert, but I've been coloring with alcohol markers for a little while, and I still love these. They just are simple to work with, and if the ink runs out, I just buy a new marker.
Carrie says she loves that.
All right, so now we're going to use our Coral Blend, and we are going to start. I started, usually there's a couple of different ways that people color with alcohol markers, but the way I did ours that we're working with today is I used the lightest tone of the coral first. Now you could just jump right into the darkest, but I really wanted it to blend nicely, and I thought if I just added a little bit more in the color family that we're going with, I thought it would blend that darkest color we're going to be using a little bit easier. So the alcohol is the key to making everything blend. So the faster, you do kind of want to work with speed. You don't have to color the whole flower at once like I did. In fact, if you're new to it, I would suggest coloring a petal at a time. Then you're not working under any kind of hurry. But if you use if you color the alcohol while it's still a little bit wet, you're going to have better results when it comes to blending. So we're just kind of getting some color on there.
Karen says hi.
Hi, Karen. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a good week.
Anybody new or having a draw today?
Yes, if you are just tuning in, if you share this video today, you will be entered into a drawing to win a stencil. The stencil is called Quilt Lace. Really, really pretty stencil. Okay, so now I'm going to take my darkest. I'm going to skip the mid-tone for now, but I'm going to go to my darkest. And I'm just going to go to where I think the biggest contrast, the biggest shadows are going to be on my rose. So what I did on my base, because we're going to color this, I'm not going to do this obviously here right now, but I colored all 3 sets of flowers. Now on the one that is my base, because I have one that's going to be my base flower, I colored this one all the way through. Like I did all of the shading and everything. On this one, all I did was the first base coat and then I left it. And the only reason why I colored it at all is because we are going to have some dimension. We are going to have some layering. And I just wanted there to be some color there in case you were looking at the card from whatever angle that you wouldn't just see white. Does that make sense?
Mary says, I color small parts at a time because I tend to strangle the marker. I've tried relaxing, but I always seem to have a death grip on markers and pencils.
Oh, Mary, I totally get that. I have to really work on loosening up. I tend to really love to color with, like I really like the Prismacolor colored pencils. And any colored pencils that are smooth like that, that are kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Creamy, that kind of just blend easily. Those are the ones I tend to really like. But I understand the death grip thing because I tend to do that. But I think I like that because I feel like I'm in control just a little bit more. So I've been kind of working on a few things in my designing and creating to try to loosen up a little bit. Watercolors scare me to death because I have such little control over them. So it's just kind of funny to see how everybody creates.
Michelle says she's so excited. She's finally done with her mermaid ATCs for Girl Scouts.
Michelle! Oh, I bet you're excited. That's a hefty job. How many were there total? In case you didn't hear, Michelle is making ATCs for her Girl Scout troop. She is so good to those girls. I'm telling you, if I was younger, I would want to be a Girl Scout just so I could be in her group because she spoils them rotten.
She's 15.
15. That's a lot of ATCs.
She says she just needs to prepare the envelopes and take pictures and then post them, so stay tuned.
Oh my gosh, they are going to love them, Michelle. That is awesome. Okay, so I'm just going all the way to the base and just working my way out a little bit.
Mary says she's just uptight coloring. She might have alcohol before coloring. LOL.
If you're not going to get it in the ink, then you're going to get it another way. That alcohol. That's funny. So I tend to color in circles. I'm kind of experimenting with a few different things lately. I was thinking about it. I want to try a couple new techniques, and if they work, then I will definitely share them with you at some point. But at this point, I just color in circles, just trying to pull that color. And you can see, I mean, we colored that fairly quickly. The last thing that we do is we can go back in. I think it's okay how it is, but you can go back in and use that original color that you were using to start with and pull that all the way from the ends to the center where it kind of, well, wherever you've got the lightest part, just to give it that one last push of color to blend everything in.
Mary said, or Michelle said 14. Got 1 plus for a nephew because so he doesn't feel left out.
Oh, Michelle, you are so thoughtful. You really are. I love that you do that. I bet that makes him feel special. That is awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the ones that I have colored. Because like I said, I didn't want to spend the entire video coloring or cutting. And I think you'll be able to appreciate that. So on this first one, what I did was I colored the whole image. But like I said, I didn't color everything in on this one. And it worked out well because I accidentally kind of double stamped on that. I closed my MISTI before I had it exactly where I wanted it. But it doesn't matter because all I need it for, this one was fine. This one, however, let's see. Yeah, okay, so this is my base one. I'm not going to layer on top of this. I'm just showing you so that you can see what the original looked like. But this one that I've got right here, this one right here, is going to be our base.
Yvonne says hello from Florida.
Hi, Yvonne.
And Jen says,
Thanks for joining us. Isn't this a beautiful stamp?
Jen says flicking works best for her.
Flicking, okay. I haven't got the, oh my goodness, I am so not coordinated. That's probably what the problem is. I haven't necessarily got that one down. So I'm going to show you, I didn't cut all of the leaves out the way that they're on here. I kind of struggled. I did originally have this one cut out, but just before the live, it broke, and then I decided that that was okay because we can arrange our leaves however we want. But I'm just showing you, I didn't use any of the leaf that's behind this one because I'm going to use this leaf somewhere else to give it more dimension, and I think we can utilize it better.
Marlene says pretty flowers.
Thanks, Marlene. I think they're pretty too. So the next thing, so you've seen how I did the base, which is this piece. So then I colored the flowers on these, and then what I did when I cut them out, I have one that is completely cut out. That's going to be on top of this one, and I want to pop it up so that we have some dimension. So I'm just going to use some of my Easy Tab foam dots, and we will just layer those on right now. I think that'll be easier. Some of the arranging will need to be done after, but I think we'll just get our flower kind of put together. So I have to just kind of find where it goes on top of my flower here. Okay, so I've got that layer, and you can see already that that gave that dimension. But we're going to give it even more dimension. So then I cut another layer where I just used the center. Okay? So we're going to cut that out.
Michelle says it looks beautiful.
Thanks, Michelle. So the hardest part of this, once you've got it colored, and really the coloring, I enjoy coloring. It depends on if you enjoy coloring. And if you really don't feel like coloring, there are different ways you can get this colored. You can add, you could just even smush it a little bit with the blooms. You would have to do the base a little bit more controlled, but as far as the flowers themselves, you could just get the leaves kind of smushed, and then you could just layer on top of that with smushed flowers and cut them out. Okay, so then I'm going to do a layer. I'm just going to rearrange things now. I'm going to move this so it's not confusing.
Karen said she likes the layering you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Okay, so now I'm going to...
Pam missed the beginning. She wants to know the stamp name. I'll post
Pam,
it.
this is called Rose Tendrils. It's from Stampendous. We do have that on the Burgess Monroe site. And so now I'm going to... Oh, and also if you're just joining, if you share this, then you can be entered into a drawing. You just need to share this post and then come back on and say shared. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for just a second. We'll do some more layering with that in a minute. But the next thing we're going to do, this is the jumbo tag. I believe these may be out of stock right now, but what you need to do when that happens is there's a button on the site that says notify me. So click that, and then you'll be notified when this is back in stock. And this is something we carry all the time, so it'll come back. This is one of my favorite products. So we're going to set that aside, but that's what we're using for our card base, because we're not really making a card, are we? We're making a tag. And then I've got this other panel of, this is cut 4 inches by 7 inches, and the jumbo tag is 8 inches by 4 inches. We're going to make a little bit of a background on this. I'll set this aside for a second. Now, I could do it right on the tag, but I want to keep it neat Because if I start messing with this, then I have to decorate the back too. And
Mary said
I'm
she
not that
liked how to
ambitious.
Most people would use red. She likes that it's so different and beautiful.
I love coral. I think it's so pretty, and it kind of has a little bit more of a fall sense. When you see the whole thing, we'll see if it ends up looking as fall as I kind of had in mind. But sometimes you just have to let something create itself, right?
Nikki said you could use 2 tags and make it into a card.
You absolutely could do that, Nikki, and that would be beautiful. So I'm using some Distress ink now. This is this is Tim Holtz Distress ink in tie-dye. Tea-dye. I'm so sorry. I didn't think that sounded right, and then I'm like, well, I'm looking right at it, but I don't have my glasses on, so that might explain that. And Darren, what were these called? What's the technical name?
They are called... Sorry, big list.
That's okay. I appreciate you looking. And by the way, thank you, Darren, for moderating. I appreciate you as always.
Mini blending toolkit.
This is a blending toolkit. This one actually I don't think is the mini, but
It says mini ink, but whatever.
But we do have I think the mini ones up. And so when you're using these, if you haven't used these before, I'll tell you a couple of things. One thing, I buy these little Velcro circles so that I can just put the color associated with it on here, so I don't have to just keep getting new ones or muddying up different ones. So that's what I do with those, and that wasn't my idea. I stole that from the internet. And then when you are using these, because they are round, you have to be careful not to just start right on there, or you'll get a harsh line where the circle is. So I kind of start off my paper and work my way into the paper.
Michelle says she's obsessed with tags.
Oh my goodness, I love tags. I love everything though. That's my problem. I love it all. I'm definitely a card maker, first and foremost.
Heather says hello.
Hi, Heather. Thanks for joining us. So hopefully I'm not moving the table too much. I don't want to have like an earthquake on the video here. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and do this entire panel. And I tend to go darker around the edges and kind of soften it up as I go into the middle. Because that's kind of how things age. And this tea dye color is often used for antiquing, distressing. It's just a great color for making something look aged.
Michelle said, how do you store your ink pads with the foam on the bottom?
I'm probably not as, what's the word I'm looking for? I actually just store them I have like an old cassette tape organizer that I use for my ink pads. It's just a wooden one. It's not painted up nice or anything. And so I'm all about the utility of it. So it doesn't bother me to have them on there, but I know exactly why you're asking, because it can get ink on your storage container. I would just suggest, if you don't want that, to just slide in a little piece of paper or something into your slot before you slide your ink pad in there. There's lots of different ways you can store your daubers, but this is the way that works best for me. Okay, I think I want just a little bit more around the edges. Ooh, got a little aggressive there. Okay, and this paper is, again, the Perfect Blend paper. I might have pushed a little hard on that, but I guess I'm taking a page out of Michael's book and being an aggressive stamper today.
Yvonne asked, should the color get darker or lighter as you go into the tag?
I like it darker around the edges, because that's when you're kind of aging something, that's what gets handled the most. So that's why it's going to be where it ages quicker.
And she also uses a cassette holder.
They're the best. And if you can find, the cassette holders are awesome. You can often find them, at thrift stores or garage sales. I got mine on like a online classifieds, And it was hilarious because the person who sold them to me, she was like, okay, I will sell you all 3 of these for $30, but I have a condition. And I'm thinking, oh dear, okay, what's the condition? And the condition, because she was helping her father clean out his stuff, was that I had to take all of the cassette tapes that were in it, which they were full. It cracked me up because she was trying to clean stuff up and he wouldn't throw anything away. So she made me take all of those tapes and she didn't care what I did with them. She just wanted them gone. So I said, okay, it's a deal. So there's 2 ways we can do this. And I haven't really tried doing anything just edgewise with these. So this is kind of a trial and error. You guys can see with me.
Kathy says she used a plastic coin sleeve to hold her foam.
Oh, Kathy, that's a great idea. I love that idea. A plastic coin sleeve would be great for these daubers.
Michelle says, I have the tins and was wondering if they would fit.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. The tins are pretty cool. I don't have any of those, so I haven't tried them or anything. So this is just using the blending sticks.
Heather said someone had the Tim Holtz tins and put the foam in the back of the ink pad.
Oh, that's a good idea too. So I think this is going to have a little bit more concentrated color, and I'm just being careful because it is so little. I don't want it to be just one big thing. I think I'm going to get more harsh lines, but I figured I would kind of go along the corners and see how it works. But these are new to me. This is my first time using these. Well, I may have used them one other time, but not a lot of experience with them. So those are kind of fun, but I think for a softer look, I am going to stick with, hadn't used this one yet, so I'm going to stick with the bigger tool so I can I feel like I actually have a little more control over how dark I want it. And I'm just going along the very edge for this now because I want the other color to kind of be the star of the show, but I do like giving it just a little more definition and just a little bit more age, a little bit more wear and tear. And I am sorry, I have not figured out how to blend without shaking the whole table. So I hope I'm not making you seasick. Do we just about have that? Let's kind of blend that in a little bit more. I'm liking that. What do you guys think? I think that's good. I don't think I want to go too crazy. We don't want it to look too dirty. Okay. Oh, maybe I just might have gone too far. Do you ever do that? I'll stop in just a second and then a second later you're like, no, I think we're okay still. Okay. So I'm going to move that, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, I thought I would kind of do an experiment. So when you use Distress Oxides, you can just use water and it'll pull the color off a bit, which I kind of played with this last night. This is strictly the tea dye. I hadn't added any of this vintage photo. I'm kind of liking the vintage photo just because it adds just a little bit more age to it. But you can see the little specks where I used water. But I wanted to try and see what would happen if I use the white Chroma mist. What was that?
Carrie says it's really pretty.
I like it too. Thank you so much, Karen.
Penny says the detailed blending tools are great for little hands. My grands are learning how to color with them.
Kara said that?
Penny.
Penny said that. Penny, that makes sense. Yeah, they would be great for that because they do. It's a lot easier for them to grip. Okay, so I've got my ugly box. That's what I lovingly refer to this
Michelle
as.
says it's definitely easier to use larger blender for the edges.
And I'm just kind of going along the edges. I've kind of got a funny string going on this. I probably should have checked it ahead of time, but I'm kind of getting the splash up. I don't want the whole thing covered. Got my hand really good though. That's pretty good. I'm good at that. So I'm going to move that.
Shimmer spray?
This is white chroma glaze. Or not chroma glaze, but chroma mist. And I wanted to see what that would do. And I actually kind of like that. What do you guys think? I think it adds a whole nother level of...
Carrie said, oh, that's what I should use.
Yeah, I like that. I think I wanted it to be a little bit more pronounced than what I was getting here. So I feel like we've accomplished that.
Michelle says, tea dye and vintage photo are my go-to oxides.
Yes, they are definitely useful ones, aren't they, Michelle?
Donna likes the white.
Donna, I like the white too. It was kind of an experiment. It was fun that it worked. It was a 50-50 chance, right? Okay, so now we're going to pull out, this is the Peacock, it's the Peacock Collection, Nature's Garden is the brand, Peacock Collection Feathered Corner die, which looks like this. And I love it. I knew I needed that. I knew I was going to need that. I just did. And I actually like, I can see the peacock influence there, but I kind of have a little bit of an obsession with mandalas. I just think they're beautiful. I always just seem to be drawn to them. And so I kind of like that it had that sort of a mandala flair to it too.
Michelle says gold aqua pigment looks great with those colors too.
Oh, I bet it would, Michelle.
And Yvonne says, I know that box is cool. I never thought about using a box. Keeps the splatter inside the box and not over all my projects.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. And those things, I think I got mine at like
The Dollar Tree, didn't you?
dollar store or something, yeah. Okay, so now we're just going to lay these into the corners. I was kind of playing with which ones, but I kind of want this corner to be the one that's a little bit more visible. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to use my Barely Art glue. This stuff is awesome. I love the tip on this because it just makes it easier to glue little things like this. And the paper that isn't it pretty? I love it too. This die is really just ornate. Okay, so this paper that I used for this die is called Penny, and it's from the Elegant Essentials line. It is absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite products. Penny is one of my favorite colors too. There's just, if you look at Burgess Monroe's site and you type in Penny, you'll see a lot of things come up. And it's because this copper shade is just gorgeous. I love the way that it looks with like kind of rose gold accents, which you kind of get with the coral, that same family of color.
Mary says, I love those die cuts. They're so pretty. Almost hate to add anything over it.
I know, they are really pretty. I agree. I agree. It'd be pretty to do something with 4 of them and put them in the center of a scrapbook layout.
Donna just got the die today.
Oh, Donna.
She expected.
Can't wait to see what you create with it.
Yvonne asked, what is the weight of that paper? It looks heavy.
The which paper? The background? The alcohol paper.
The Elegant Essentials paper.
Oh, the Elegant Essentials paper? I'm not sure if it tells me on the front. But it is heavy. It does not tell me, but I can tell you it's a good hefty paper. Okay, so I think we decided we were going this way.
It says it's 80 pound on the website.
Oh, 80 pounds. Thank you. I didn't even know how to guess on that, so I'm grateful. Darren, you're so good. Thank you for helping us with that. All right, let's get this last little guy on there, and then we will finish layering up our flower. We'll adhere this to our tag first. And I don't glue every inch of it. I just glue where I think we'll kind of anchor it down. Because obviously we don't want any of it sticking up. I just try to grab the spots that are widest. It is kind of a mess when you get glue on the front of the Elegant Essentials paper. It's a little rough to shine it up and buff it out, but it is possible. The oh my goodness, the name has left me. The microfiber cloth and the dry cloth are good to help with that. The dry cloth, I would say, especially. Okay. Is that what it's called?
Microfiber.
And then the other one that's made out of felt that's smaller.
Let me check.
I am terrible with names. I need to get better at that. Okay. So now we've got our card panel kind of lined up on there. So let's just go ahead and adhere that to our tag. I'm going to use my Easy Tear tape.
Doesn't say. Just showing the one size, so.
It is just the microfiber one?
Microfiber's all I showed.
The other cloth isn't on there?
No.
Okay. Use the fiber cloth. P.S. I do love my microfiber cloth. I have 2 of them because I use them all the time. And that way I can have one in the wash and one in use. Okay. So let's see if we can get this lined up on here. Hopefully I cut it pretty straight. Looks like it might be a little bit crooked, but I think we'll be okay. So I did cut it out a little crooked, but what I would do right here, I'm just gonna take a little bit of my darker, the vintage photo one, and that could be camouflaged a little bit. I'm all about finding a way around it because I make lots of mistakes. Darn it. I'd love to tell you otherwise, but I'm a crafter just like you who has hits and misses. Okay. I think that's fine. Now, let's get situating our
Gary says,
flower
I
in
want
here.
to give that away. It's so beautiful.
Isn't this a fun stamp set?
I'd like to keep it forever.
Okay, so let's adhere this to our card base. I keep calling it that. Tag, card base. They're going to be interchangeable today as I'm talking about it, it looks like.
Donna loves a camouflage tip.
Oh, good. Glad I can help, Donna. Trust me, if there's a way to fix a boo-boo, hopefully I've learned it.
Yvonne says, in crafting there are no mistakes.
Yvonne, I like your style. Well, and the thing is I think if we get too tense about how we're making something, then we lose all the joy of creating. You can get so uptight about it that you don't even have fun. I've known way too many people who are like, oh yeah.
Hey, Robin says it's not a mistake, it's a design opportunity.
There you go, Robin. There you go. Okay, so we're going.
Says she just started a 3rd microfiber that is dedicated to glitter paste and other unwanted glitter transfer.
Oh, smart, Robin. I love that idea. So I'm just going to mess with this a little bit. I kind of wanted to add another bloom. I think if I'm going to do that, then we're going to add this guy.
Gary says we're not Hallmark.
That's right, we are not Hallmark. Hallmark has beautiful cards, but I don't know that they're made with love the same way that these are. Okay, so we actually need a foam square for this. Oh, no. No, we don't. We need tissue tape. I'm not doing that one yet. I'll do this one first. Don't mind me while I narrate as I go sometimes. You know what? I'm live, so you would think that that's the only time I narrate when I'm creating, but
Nope.
Darren will attest I do that on many things in my life.
I often ask her what she said, and she wasn't even talking to me.
But, you know, if it helps me keep it straight, we're doing all right. Okay, so now we're going to line this one up and give this a little more dimension. And you could get as fussy with this or as simple with this as you want. But look, already we only did, you know, this one has 3 because I did pop we had that initial base and then I popped one up and then there's that one. This one's just the base and 1 layer, and then this is just 1 layer. So now we're just going to add a little bit more of our greenery where we want it. That was one of the nice things. You can line it up how you need to make it work for your card. Because the other one was a little too long for what I wanted to do here. It also makes it easier to work your sentiment in where you want to. What was that, Darren?
Just is better than Hallmark because the thought loves sweat and tears and sometimes some swear words.
Swear words? Never. Yeah. Sometimes there are some colorful. Yes, that's true. Okay, so we're just messing with this right now. I hope you don't mind me kind of playing with it for a minute. Oh, losing my leaves, but that's okay because we can add it in somewhere else if we want. I think I'll add it just right where it was though. I like it right there. I'm not sure I like that one up that high. Maybe we'll angle it this way. Actually, I think we might just switch it out altogether. This is pretty similar to how it started. Let me find you that. It's just not quite as long. See how long it is from here to here? This way we can kind of bring it in and fit it where we want it. So I'm just going to tuck those in. I'm just going to put a little glue on the ends. I'm terrible about remembering to put that pin in, and that is like super no-no. You got to have that pin in there or you're going to clog up your nozzle. And I like to just glue the tip so that it can have a little bit of freedom to move. I mean, you don't have to have everything flat on your card. I mean, just moving the leaves around a little bit. Look how much that changes things. If you just kind of bend them up a little bit, you get that much more dimension from your card. I'm going to anchor this guy down though. Anchor that one down and move these ones up a little bit. And then we'll just
said, Shannon, would you like my address and send me that tag? LOL.
Mary, you are so sweet. Look at that. Okay, so the only thing, now that I popped this up like that, which I really like that, but there's one thing missing. I'm not sure we need that leaf. I don't want to force it. If I put it anywhere, it's going to be right there. We'll decide later. Right now, I'm kind of liking it. So I still have, I love the conversation clippings that you get from, are you guys proud? I'm remembering to put the pin in. The conversation clippings that you get in your inspiration box. And I know these ones are sold out right now. I don't know if they are coming back or not. I apologize that I don't know. But these are from the Homegrown Happiness inspiration box, and somewhere I have one ready to go. Okay, so I thought this was kind of fun because it has the sentiment, everything is coming up roses. So I thought, well, what better way to use that than on this rose card? And I am going to try one more thing. I'm kind of liking this how it is. Other than putting the ribbon in, I don't know that it needs a lot, but just for fun, I thought we would see what it would look like if I add some little pearls. That's one of the fun things about this die is it's got all of these little nooks and crannies, but honestly I don't even really see it. I think it's fancy enough. What was perfect?
That's perfect.
Just the way it is. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, I kind of think that the pearls are, well, I don't mind them on the flowers so much because they kind of look like dewdrops. I could deal with dewdrops. I don't want too many on there. What do you guys think? Do you like it with or without the dewdrops? I don't know that it even needs them. I think it's got a lot going on as it is, but
Carrie said that's a huge bag of pearls.
yeah, this is a big bag of pearls, isn't it? This was in my stash. I probably have a lifetime supply here.
Yvonne says dewdrops, but just a few.
Yeah, I wouldn't do more than
Robin
maybe
says
3.
she likes them without.
Ooh, that's
So
rough.
it's split so far.
Well, let's put the sentiment on and we'll look it over after.
Tina says without.
Oh, you might get outvoted here.
Kimberly says without.
All right.
I think the withouts win. I have to figure out how to do a poll on here sometime.
Yeah. You're so clever, I'm sure you will.
Karen says the pearls look nice.
Well, we'll just say you can put pearls on it, should you choose, or not. That's the nice thing. I definitely don't think it would need many. I think
Carrie says
3 would be
create
the
your own
most.
ending.
That's right. We got to create our own ending here. I'm going to put this on and then I think I'll be able to make a better decision. See if we've got that straight. Of course not. I so struggled to put things on straight. Okay, let's put this here. Kind of line it up that way.
Yvonne says, but if you tilt it, it'll look shiny on the light.
If I tilt,
If you tilt the card with pearls on it, it'll look shiny.
yeah.
Pearls will give it more shine. Mary says, either way, it's beautiful.
You are so sweet, you guys. Let me find that last pearl so I can get one last idea here. See?
Robin said, normally I'm a pearl person, but it's so beautiful the pearls take away from it.
I tend to be a safe, play it safe kind of gal. Maybe even too much that way sometimes. But I kind of agree with you on that. I think we're going to forego the pearls this time. But if you like pearls on yours, I highly encourage you do that. Because you want to make your card your own. I do think I want to add that leaf though. And then I think it will be ready for a bow and we will call it good. This is a fun one to make. You could do this with lots of different florals or even other kinds of stamp sets. Mess with them. Cut them apart. Do anything, you know.
Robin said, yes, add the leaf, she said.
Yeah, I like the leaf for sure. I think it needed a little something in there. I feel like that was a good filler. I think this ribbon could work. I like this ribbon because I feel like it doesn't take away from everything down here.
People really like the tag. It's getting lots of praise.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. All right, I'm just deciding how we want to do our tag. We'll do it. I think I'm going to use these other. I usually like to kind of iron out my... I have this heat tool. This is like my $3 special from some cheap store. And I usually use this on my ribbons. I don't think it'll warm up fast enough to make it worthwhile doing it now, but I'm going to warm it up because after I want to use it. Because it'll bug me to have the creases in my ribbon. So I think I'm deciding if I want to leave them just like this and put a bow here. Let's try it this way.
Well, I said different colored flowers. The stamp is so versatile.
Oh yeah, you could do so many different flavors with this. This is just one thing you could do with this stamp set. This would be beautiful in blues and purples. Imagine it in yellows. But you could just kind of fit it to whatever time of year. You could go into richer, deeper colors. I feel like it kind of has a little bit of a fall sense, but it could be more fall than it is even. I think that's good for there. I like that. This is just the little crimping tool, or not crimping, I don't know what you call it, straightening. It's a hair straightener. If you can find one of these cheap on clearance, it works really good for just taking those little creases out of your ribbons when you take your ribbons off their cards. And then sometimes I'll do them all at once, even if I'm not using the ribbon yet. And after I have them that way, a good way to store them is I use these little, let me see if I can find one. You know those little sauce cups? Here's one. The little sauce cups that you get at fast food places. I'll just use these sometimes to store my ribbon, just because it keeps them from creasing. And then I can still see the colors. I use these a lot in my craft supplies. I think we just about have all of that out.
Great job. It's a really good tag.
Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate that. You guys are so sweet to me. This thing, I have not figured out how to not have this in the shot. So for now, while I have this little tiny filming space, sorry. You can tell I'm super technical, have all that under control all the time.
This was fun.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. I appreciate that so much. And also, I should tell you, this will go on my YouTube channel in the next few days, Crafty Shenanigans YouTube channel. And then after that, a few days later, then we also upload it to the Brutus Monroe YouTube channel. So you will be able to go back to it if you ever need to check out any of the tutorial. Thank you again, and I will see you next Wednesday. Until then, be safe, and I hope all is well with all of you.